Good evening, everyone. He was considered an icon in Alaska's arts community. This weekend, many mourn the loss of Jerry Harper and say goodbye to one of Alaska's great artists. Channel 2's Joy Mapai joins us with the story. Joy.
Lynn, Jerry Harper died on Friday after a battle with cancer. Tonight, friends and family reflect on his legacy, a legacy that touches so many.
You can teach theater history, but Jerry lived theater history. He's the only guy I ever knew who knew Groucho Marx.
Yep.
Played golf with the mayor of Munchkin City.
I thought about the first time I saw Jerry on stage, and it didn't involve me at all. I was an audience member. But it was American Buffalo, and his performance was electric. There's no other way to describe it.
Because it looks like something.
Is this worth anything?
We don't know yet.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna look it up.
Oh, what, tonight?
I think so.
Where is he?
How the fuck do I know?
He said he'd be here?
Yes, he did.
So where is he? What's he doing here?
Why do you leave him alone? He'll leave.
Oh, he's gonna leave?
Yes.
You sure it isn't like the bowling league? Fletcher doesn't show up, and so we suit up Bobby and give him a shot, and he goes. I'm sorry. I spoke in anger.
Other experience I wanted to talk about was directing Jerry in King Lear. Now, Jerry, as some of you may know, had a glass eye, and his depth perception wasn't very good. And I was directing and blocking the final scene of Lear, in which Lear picks up his daughter Cordelia and carries her out on stage and presents this wonderful speech about the death of his favorite daughter, and then dies next to her. I wanted Jerry to come down the central staircase. Now, at the time, I had forgotten about Jerry's eye and the fact that his bones were getting a little creaky. And I suggested it to him, knowing it might be dangerous. And I said, but Jerry, we can actually have you enter from the side. And Jerry, understanding how important the entrance was at the end, insisted on carrying his daughter, and she was not small. She wasn't big, but she was not small, down a flight of steps, and finally putting her on the bier that would hold her body. And I remember a few times where he would totter at that top step, and everyone would hold their breath, wondering if would make it down. He never dropped her, he never stumbled, and he always brought the house to tears while he was talking about his favorite daughter.
Blow winds and crack your cheeks. Rage, blow. You cataracts and hurricanes. Spout till you have trenched our steeples, drowned the cocks. You sulphurous and thought-executing thunderbolts, vaunt couriers of oak-splitting flames. Singe my white hair.
Favorite roles? Well, Money is the first one that comes to mind, and I think that's because it was almost a King Lear-esque role.
Yes, money can kill you. It's true. There's no doubt about it. Take it from a guy who knows. But we'll take our chances, won't we?
I said to myself, I know that voice. Who is that guy? That's when I finally began to learn the tremendous, extraordinary talent of Jerry Harper. He was simply, I got to learn, the very best commercial talent in Anchorage. But it was when Jerry walked on stage that I really got chills.
No one saw me 12 or 13, and I would go into the water. I'd take 2 stones, as large as I could manage, swim out a bit,
Tread, look up one final time at the sky. Relax and begin to go down. Oh, 20 feet, 15. Soft landing without a sound. The white sand clouding up where your feet touch. And all around you, ferns and lichen. And you can stay down there so long. You can build it up and last so long. Long enough for the sand to settle and the fish come back. And they do come back, all sizes. Some slowly eyeing past. Others streak, and you think for a moment they're larger than they are. Sharks, maybe. But they never are. One stops being an intruder, finally. Just one more object comes to the bottom. Or living thing. Part of the undulation and the silence. It was very good.
The Roosevelt tree, I think, is some fine work from everybody, and much of that has to do with the fact that Jerry was there giving us a high watermark every day and something to shoot for.
Gotcha! Well, what have we here?
Let me go, you nasty old man!
I never asked for charity, child. Who told you to do it, hmm? Who told you to come?
No one told me to come. I just thought we could be friends, that's all. And you ruined it!
Friends?
Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Treasures him. Treasures of the mind.
Here's one for all your romantic hearts out there. Contrary to popular myth, romance is indeed alive and well in the Northland.
I don't think we spent enough time singing. Sometimes we'd sit down and go through a whole book of songs, and he'd know all the words to all the songs. But I wish we'd done it more. He could make us laugh. Huh?
Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh. Don't you know everyone wants to laugh? My dad said, be an actor, my son, but be a comical one. They'll be standing in lines for those old honky-tonk monkey shines. Or you could study Shakespeare and be quite elite, and you could charm the critics and have nothing to eat. Just slip on a banana peel, the world's at your feet. Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh.
Is there anything you can add?
No, only I would add that there's nothing to add.
General, what can you tell us about the rumored peace talks?
I'm glad you brought that up. And I want to caution you and all members of the press here that any irresponsible leaks in this area may lead this war to a premature peace.
General, can you tell us why MASH units never get in the incubators?
And we need one. General, what about this incubator situation?
What was the name of that colonel you meant?
Now, just a minute. This is a press conference. The last thing I want to do is answer a lot of questions.
What exactly is an incubator? It grows germs.
General, are we involved in germ warfare?
That's a lie.
We're fishing men, and we're here to say you gotta eat your seafood every day. Clams and scallops.
Salmon, too. Prawns and oysters, they're good for you.
We bring them in fresh and fatty. You should have seen the van that got away. So if you're smart, like we know you are,
you go to Ivor's restaurants and seafood bars.
When we say Ivor's food is fine,
we ain't just handing you some fishing line. We're the Ivor's crew, and we're here to say you gotta eat your seafood every day.
An understanding of the old vaudeville style of humor, an understanding of the touring circuit, an understanding of the old 10-in-1 shows, things that don't exist anymore.
Well, because he did everything, you know? I mean, he was a lion tamer and a carny and an actor and a TV actor and a film actor and, you know, probably every aspect of this industry he did to some degree or another.
Don't do me any favors.
Who's doing you a favor? I'm doing my nephew a favor. It'll be good for him in the business if we do it. So, you want to do the doctor sketch?
I bet you never even went to medical school.
What are you talking? What are you talking? I went to Columbia Medical School.
Did you pass?
Certainly I passed.
Oh, you should have gone in.
Excuse me, Doctor. think I'm getting a chest cold.
Looks more like an epidemic to me.
Prizes, refreshments, even singing for discounts.
I can't sing.
We'll give you $500 off your RV.
Don't come back no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack.
Plus, special financing with no low-down deals.
Oh, Daddy.
So, who do you complain to?
You complain to me. I'm glad I got the time to listen.
Man needs a friend in this life.
In this, like any other life.
Oh, you said it. Life without a friend is not
Worth living.
No, it's still worth living. I mean, what is worth living and not life? No, but life without a friend. Ah, it sure is. You said it. It's good to have a friend.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old past said. Boy, you got a friend in me.
Now for you, there is no rain. For one is shelter to the other. Now for you there is no sun. For one is shelter to the other. Now for you nothing is hard or bad, for the hardness and badness are taken by one for the other. Now for you there is no night, for one is light to the other. Now for you there is no cold, for one is warmth to the other.
I don't know, maybe it was in February, and we got to the artistic director's report, and Jerry was into his motion, and right as he was talking and Sandy was right next to him, all of a sudden it was drip, 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 right on Sandy's head. There was water dripping right through the ceiling. And Jerry continued. He didn't really notice. She was right next to him, but he was on a roll. And then finally the water got pretty intense, and it was kind of pouring on Sandy's head. And she said, "Honey, there's water pouring through the ceiling." And Jerry stopped for 1 second and looked at her and said, "Yeah, the person in 2B must be taking a shower," and then went right back into his routine. So
sometimes at the Jerry scale is he dissuaded me from clowning, which was career shaping, and then reaffirmed me as an actor, which was career shaping.
Favorite performance? Waiting for Godot. To see Jerry with Wayne and Shane Mitchell in Waiting for Godot, there's just no reason to ever see it again.
What was your favorite?
I like him with Miss Jones in Waiting for Godot.
Oh, Godot was really your favorite, wasn't it? He was grand.
I too would like to meet him. The more people I meet, the happier I become. From the meanest creatures, one departs wiser, richer, more conscious of one's blessings. But even you, who knows, would have added to my store.
But if he'd had a couple of glasses of wine, and his glass eye was still clear, but his biological eye was starting to get bloodshot, you knew you could get a really good story out of it.
You were on your way to some good laughs then. Good laughs then.
I know what part I can tell about it. When he did Lady Bracknell, I had the great honor of designing and building his costume, which was a tremendous challenge. I had to go to Sears to get him a bra, and I walked in, and from what I could tell of his measurements, he would take about a 44D bra. But the first time he put on his makeup and his wig and his bra and his costume, he walked out and he was beautiful. He really made a very beautiful woman. Handsome is probably a better word, but I was walking down D Street the next day, and there's a picture of his mother on one of those historical banners on D Street, and it looked just like her.
as I rely on you to arrange my music for me. It is my last reception, and one wants something that will encourage conversation, particularly at the end of the year, when everyone practically has said whatever they had to say, which in most cases was probably not much.
In his inimitable way, he approached me right before the curtain, and I was expecting maybe some discussion about the character or maybe about the wit of Wilde. And instead, Jerry Harper came up to me and said, "Young man, this may be your only chance to cop a feel."
Jerry and Sandy and Jerry, in a lot of ways, they're inseparable. And they really provided so many opportunities for so many people, creating a venue and for people to rise to the occasion.
It was closing night, and we'd done the show, and it was a great success, and everyone was going home, and I think I was loading some things out to my car, and there were still some kids left here in the theater, and with their families packing up. And there had been, I guess throughout the evening, there had been someone who'd been drinking a bit too much out in front of the theater, and this was not a friendly drunk, evidently. He was rather hostile and had come in and out of the lobby a couple times, and Jerry'd asked him to leave, and here it was after the show, and the kids were leaving and going home with their families, and here he was, and he was getting kind of hostile and literally started picking a fight with Jerry. And here's Jerry, this older, sweet man, and in defense of those kids, he took charge, and he went out there and he went at this guy. The two of them were going, and everybody was looking around, and I remember some of the kids were saying, Sandy was saying, "Call 911, call 911," and I just remember being down the street and looking at this whole thing and watching Jerry just go and pinning this guy down. Here, he was over 70 years old, and here he's pinning this guy down, and he was not easy to pin down. He was angry and violent and drunk, and again, he did it to protect the kids. I saw that in him.
Somebody asked me once why I didn't work at any other theater. I teach at the University of Alaska Anchorage. And my answer was because I believe in Jerry's dream. And indeed, that's how I felt about it. Jerry had a very strong dream.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
And I think I learned from Jerry more than anyone else that theater is about love. It's about love of the art and love of the people you work with. And Jerry, and I know you're up there someplace, probably still memorizing Shakespeare. I want to thank you for all your work and for influencing my life and making my middle years of creative activity very joyful. Thank you, Jerry.
Well, he was just the best dad that anyone could ever want. He was fun, but you know, just always guided me in the right direction. Always had good wisdom, good advice. Just always, he seems like he always tried to do the right thing and encouraged me to do that as well.
Jerry would find good in everything, and that wasn't just theatrically, that was life. Jerry found good in everything and everybody.
Somebody, you know, like maybe the dad you wish you had, the guy who said it was okay to follow your dream.
Grandpa, people's hero and strength. Grandpa, the one with the white beard, everyone shall miss you. My grandma's best friend, my mom's greatness, and more. We will love you forever and on. We will listen very closely to the stories you can tell. They are nice and interesting, and very lively. But most of all, they're from you, and you were very good at Scrabble, but most of all, everyone loved you. By Jana.
It was who Jerry was as a person that most strikes me still. I was doing a stupid little super short for a Bob Shorts throwdown, and needed a fatherly figure for one of the characters, and asked Jerry about it, kind of reluctantly, because I was, you know, it was a stupid little short. But Jerry took it so seriously that it forced me to really consider the project and take it seriously, and it's really one of the things that created a situation where I realized that I had a love of directing. But I think of that quite often to this day, that had he not agreed to do that, I don't know that I would have pursued making additional films.
It was in this room that I discovered I love theater. And it was Oleana that Jerry directed.
Wonderful to see him at 75 still enjoying listening to the house as much as if it were probably the first night they'd ever heard a Big House.
Say no too often, Agnes. Don't be like me. I said no over and over, and now I'm hoping it's not too late. Say yes, Agnes. Don't be like me. I'm finally starting. Better late than never.
Oh, you can't walk on water.
Yes, I can. I'm hoping there's a cure in this water for my life.
Uncle Ambrose!
Finally, the cast would like to dedicate this performance to Jerry Harper. Thank you very much.
So tonight, on this closing night, they say farewell to a man who loved the stage, a man who knew that despite what happens, the show must go on.
Jerry was not so much interested, I think, in doing something for Jerry, but I really honestly think he was interested in creating a legacy, not just for him and about him, but for the rest of us. And so I know that all the actors and other writers and set directors and set makers and costume people, everyone he mentored and guided, we'll still have this theater here, and we have him to thank for that. And I think it's one of the most important things to happen to arts in Alaska. And I really thank Jerry for that, and I thank Sandy for continuing to carry it on.
Above and beyond all that stuff, just as a friend, somebody that I run into and always have, a few laughs with, always a good time, always good words, and it's always been interesting. It was, I'm really, really going to miss Jerry.
Knock, knock, Jerry. We will miss you.
I was privileged to know Jerry Harper at all. I admired him for his work. But best of all for me, I just admired Jerry Harper.
To sum it up, I've never known a finer man.